Hating or disliking your body is a bad habit. It's a really bad habit that almost all of us in society have. So many people are hating their bodies, disliking their bodies, just not really liking their bodies, wanting them to be a little different, thinking they would be better if they were a little different, just always this kind of sense of dissatisfaction. And that range goes from pure hatred to just, maybe just could be a little better. And I would just like to say that that is a terrible habit that we have all adopted very innocently. Nobody's fault, but it is not serving you. It's not serving any of us. Our mind might start to tell us that it serves some purpose, that it's in some way making us better, that it's going to give us more of what we want out of life, that it's going to make us happier. And when we believe that that's the way or the only way that we're going to be happy is to get all these things that we think that this body is going to help us get, then we keep the habit. We think it's a useful habit and a purposeful habit, but it's not a helpful habit really, because it brings us down. It's critical, it's judgmental, it's constantly gnawing and wearing at you day in and day out. It's taking precious mental time and energy worrying about something that that you don't need to be worrying about, that you could be spending that, again, precious energy and time doing something or focusing on something that actually means something to you. And this is not to blame. This culture conditions us to think this is a great way to be thinking or a normal way to be thinking. And it's not. It's dragging everybody down. Your body's not wrong. Your body's not bad. Could it maybe function a little bit more optimally than you want it to? In some cases, yes. I mean, I'm talking about a huge range when I say bodies and acceptance. That covers the whole gamut. So I can't speak individually to what somebody's main concern is, but on the whole, hating and criticizing and thinking your body is wrong is actually not going to be the thing that makes you feel better about it, or it's not really going to be a lasting, motivating force to be changing, having your body change for the better. And by even changing your body, it just means doing things that make you feel better. But we've been conditioned with this idea that our body needs to look a certain way, it needs to be a certain way, that, if we're 40 or 50 or 60, we're supposed to somehow look like we're 20 or 30. And for those people who do, then somehow they're better, and we're willing to endorse and spend time and money on surgeries and medications and whatnot in order to alter our body to look like Forever 21. It's silly. It's silly. It's this bad habit. It's a mental habit that just keeps repeating and repeating and is actually not helping us. It's really not. And you don't have to do it anymore. You really don't. Just like any habit, it feels like it can be hard to stop, but the very first step is just to notice that it's a habit, that it's going on. You can't stop the thoughts that come into your head. You can't stop the critical thoughts that come in, but you can start to notice when they're happening, and you can just see it. Oh, look at this. This is just this habit. This is just this conditioned program that keeps running in my mind that's telling me I got to constantly be worrying about and fixing my body. It's just a habit. And when you can see it for what it is, you don't need to listen to it. You're going to listen to it a lot, especially in the beginning, but when you just start to notice it, like, maybe I actually don't need to be listening to what it's telling me. Maybe this isn't actually helping me live by listening to this criticism and thinking I need to do something to change my body. if I thought my body was okay, or if that thought just didn't come into my mind, what might I be interested in doing? What might I spend my time and energy on? What might I be doing that helps me feel better in my body that isn't coming from a place of thinking I need to fix it? That's two very different sources. But when we see our body as a problem, we're likely to be doing things that actually have a negative impact in the rest of our lives in order to just hone in and fix this one little thing. Because when we're dieting, when we're on these exercise programs that we're having to alter around our lives, like we have to change our lives in order to do this, that's not actually serving us on the whole. We really don't need to follow diet plans or exercise plans unless, I don't know, you're an athlete and you're looking for a particular performance outcome, or you just enjoy it and it actually really legitimately makes you feel good. But as soon as there are shoulds or have tos or better than or I'm not doing enough, that's taking away from your life. You actually don't need to follow an external plan. We have the best plan ever already within us. It's called what feels good. Follow that. The beauty about it is that it happens moment to moment. Over our lifespan, depending on our circumstances, we're always going to be able to do the best that we can with what we have. We just follow that inner guidance. But we have this habit, we have this talking program running in our mind all the time that's telling us otherwise. Just because it's running in almost everybody else doesn't mean that it's worth listening to, or that it has more value than what comes from in here. We've all been sort of hypnotized by this voice in our brain that's telling us really is a very deep survival instinct. We're okay. We're safe right here, right now. We don't need that survival program to be running anymore, to be in charge. That's really another thing for another time. But we have the guidance within. That habit of thinking is not serving you, and you don't have to listen to it. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's been a program. It's been conditioned really understandably when we really dig down to it. But you don't have to keep listening to it anymore. And again, step one, notice it's happening. How do you notice? Feel what you're feeling. Do you feel like crap? Did you have a thought in there that told yourself you're ugly, or you're not good enough, or you need to lose 5 pounds, or you looked better when you were younger, or compared yourself to this person? That's your indication that that program is running. When you hear that, just notice it. For step one, just notice, and then consider, maybe I don't have to listen to it. Go a little bit deeper. If I didn't listen to it, if I didn't have this thought, what might feel good to me to do? It's your life. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so stressful. You don't have to actually be listening to that voice that is constantly telling you that your body isn't good enough. Just notice that, like, you actually have the power to not listen to that. And you're gonna get caught in it all the time. This is a habit. It's a well ingrained habit. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to it anymore, done. No, it doesn't usually work like that. It's going to take a while, but you can start now and you can keep going because you deserve to feel better. Your body's not wrong, and you have it in you to guide you into doing things that make your body feel better, that you feel healthier, that you feel more alive and more vibrant. And one of the best ways that you can do that right off the bat is to notice this habitual thinking, this program that is running in your head. That is one way right here, right now, that you can start to feel better in your life. You don't have to change your body. Your body doesn't have to meet this standard in your head, which, by the way, is going to change over time too. You're not always going to be able to meet it. So, easiest thing, cut right to it. You don't need to listen to this. Start listening to this. And if you want to help start listening to this, join my free weekly meditation group. 10 minutes of a guided meditation, can attend live, I send you the recording, where I guide you into starting to notice the difference between the program that's running and what is in here. When we can start to notice that separation, this is when really we can start to change and experience real freedom. Want to go even deeper in that? Work with me one-on-one in my coaching. We can look specifically at that habit. We can start to go into what feels good for you and start to make those changes.